And welcome back, everybody. As we carry on here, our fourth game of the night is now coming up. Av3k taking on Cypher.
Yeah, this is gonna be, yeah, what is it Zoot called it, a slobber knocker? Is
Oh
that the
yeah,
word?
the classic
Yeah,
word. Yeah. Slobber
yeah.
knocker, mate.
I always feel like I'm gonna get it wrong and be incredibly embarrassed, but the time for that is past. We're done with Sib and Effortless. What a match that was, and going into a matchup like Av3k and Cypher, it's gonna be very different indeed. When you've played somebody as much as these two have played each other, you are so far down the rabbit hole of counter strategies and fake outs and everything in the book. It's going to be difficult to predict.
It really will. It's a hard one to call at the best of times. Let's go straight into the veto then to see if that will give us any helping hands in figuring out how this matchup will go down between these two living legends.
And of course, Cypher has been holding on to a pretty good ranking, coming back in from a rather long break from Quake. But yeah, Av3k has been kind of scraping by. Right now, on the European side of things, the setup for the finals is kind of set in terms of who's going and who's not going. We will be waving goodbye to Sparty and Zeron. Uh, but Av3k is going to be in there, just kind of by the skin of his teeth. I'm really curious to see what he brings in today.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what you can bring to the table. I mean, opening us up, the first Awoken of the day. Always love getting a bit of Awoken on our hands. So I'm excited we finally get it here between these two boys as well. Galena versus Doomslayer to start us off. Cypher on the Doom. Meanwhile, Galena will be played by Av3k. So a lot of potential for this opening map to definitely be quite a fun one.
Yeah, I think fun is going to be the name of the game, especially because we haven't seen Awoken today, uh, which is bizarre to me. But we've seen a lot of American players as well, and it's a little bit more of a European thing. But yeah, Galena Doom guy there, that's pretty standard. BJ, Anarchy on Corrupt to Keep, dig that. I mean, it's all kind of normal all the way down. We are seeing some champion choices that we haven't seen a whole lot today. We are seeing an Eisen come out finally on Ruins, which could be a lot of fun. Well, we'll have to see if Av3k is ready to play the slow and steady play, or if he's going to see Cypher popping off crazy shots and try to go in for the same thing himself.
Yeah. What little moments of magic they'll actually have for us. Overall, a pretty good series with the way it's panned out on the map choices, good hero picks as well. So I'm definitely excited for this. Anarchy is always fun, obviously being on Cypher as well. We know he can play with the momentum and play quite aggressively with it, utilizing that speed.
Yeah, I think with these particular maps, you've got Awoken, you've got Corrupt to Keep. Raw speed is going to be a little bit less of a factor than it would be on, say, something like Blood Covenant, where it's a huge difference between being able to get from heavy to mega and back. It's going to play a little bit into some of the angle plays when it comes to control. Doom Guy being able to jump over the middle of the map in Awoken is going to be a much bigger deal. Av3k will be forced a little bit as a Galena to set up a few more traps to hopefully control the middle as best he can, but there's going to be a lot of mobility that Cypher's bringing to the table.
Yeah, the mobility magic of Cypher. He's been looking damn good recently, obviously, as we said, since he came back into it, playing a lot more arena FPS, a lot of across the board, broadening his horizons and finding quite a lot of skill again in his classic gun skill, looking like he's trying to raise his own back up to the top. He's looked more fantastic every week we have him. Av3k's been hitting that consistent margin as well. He had a very good showing when he was in his hometown in Poland as well, of course, where we saw some beautiful, beautiful moments from him. So both of them are in a form where this matchup should at least give us some exciting moments to look at. It is Awoken as well, so if it was going to provide us with some cinematic aggressive frags, it certainly would be the map for it.
Yeah, it's always bewildering to me when somebody's allowed to pick Doomslayer on this map. He brings a huge advantage to the table. Will it be enough for Cypher? About to find out. Here we go. Gonna be watching Cypher as we get started, who's getting the rail spawn. That means that first Mega is going to go to Av3k. He's going to have to back off towards LG immediately. That means it's a bit of a question mark about where they're going to clash after Cypher gets a rocket launcher. And Cypher's wondering that himself. He's being very quiet, wants to kind of sneak away the weapons that he's not been able to get you know, just for free off of the spawn. But it means that once they've done a complete cycle, I don't even know if Av3k's managed to get himself a rocket launcher yet. He's got Tri-Bolt at the very least, but here comes the RL play. Cypher's going to use the double jump to at least control away the Mega and maybe put some pressure on the rockets as well. I think we just saw Av3k sneak that away.
Cypher playing around the middle of the map. Opening rail comes out. Good bit of chunking going on initially to tear some of that stack off. The response is there from the Tri-Bolt of Av3k. Will slow down the potential play. Double totems put down as well in quite a sneaky little angle. Depends if Cypher will spot them as they fight over the Mega Spawn. That's to be coming up in about a second. Should go the way of Av3k, but at least the connections from the rail are making it so it's really not going to give him much bonus health. And in reality, just barely bring him back to the position he was already in. Cypher gets knocked into the heavy, and he's going to be happy with how this has gone so far.
Rail after rail after rail. When it comes to Cypher, that is some serious arrow walk flashbacks for me. But even with all that damage, Av3k is still doing okay. He's still got well over 100 health by merit of those totems. And he's still stabbing back with a little bit of damage of his own. But Cypher's so confident in his ability to hit him here that missing one shot might take him a moment to realize exactly how bad the situation is. First frag goes to Av3k.
Cypher launching himself up with the rocket jump, getting out the Hellion Salvo as well as he spams them down, hoping to tear him a new one. Good use of the rail to tag him from a distance. Both of them not looking to overcommit. Cypher plays it smart, plays off the audio, pushes in when the time is right as they both slip round back towards Banana. The LG is out for Av3k, but he's being knocked up into the doorway, and he'll take a lot of damage from that rocket.
That's more potassium than he wanted at that point. I mean, that was a messy fight. Trying to open that up with LG is rough when you're taking the rockets to the feet. 6 seconds to Mega still, so that's a free heavy for Av3k. And Cypher's even giving that up just to go in for the shot, but literally all he has is a railgun. He has nothing else. Realizing that maybe a little bit late, he's got to give up the item, or at least give up the position, and go find something he can actually shoot with. You're supposed to shoot with it. Oh, nice rail. Yeah, I guess in Cypher's case, you can never just say he has only rail. Plenty for him.
So all he really needs times to just be able to absolutely tear you apart with just this sole weapon. Almost had the shot off. The read on Av3k gives him the Mega, fires off the warning rockets back, blows up the totems, and Av3k will reposition, looking down the center of the map. Cypher just listening now.
This map ends up being a lot more about listening than purely timing. Just because the item's up doesn't mean it's safe. Cypher's expecting a hit here for the pickup of the heavy, but he gets it for free. Able to do a token amount of damage and put himself on this Mega. There's the pickup, there's the totem. Is it worth it? All things considered. Well, it is if he can nail the rail. Nicely done from Cypher.
Cypher on 1 HP. Surprised he was actually able to remain alive. His heart pounding in his chest. He must be terrified with the position he's in. He had to rapidly reposition back over to LG room. Scavenge together his little baubles to replenish himself. Peeking out again, battling towards mid. The rocket going down will be a nice little jump for Av3k, and it lines him up for the slam down.
Nicely done out of Cypher. And that's going to be, ironically enough, the cleanest frag they've made so far. Giving Cypher a little bit more to work with as Av3k spawns back up. You can see how steady his hands are. Yeah, actually, the pulse beating in his chest was kind of bothering him for a while, so he had his heart surgically removed. Just to kind of get an edge on. But Cypher's not scared to come up this jump pad. The Tri-Bolt up there is just so deadly and dangerous. Av3k has no chance to escape. He's done a little bit of damage, but he made the frag right before the Mega was taken, so Cypher can enjoy the full benefit of the Mega. Heavy's coming back up in 6 seconds. Cypher still has plenty of it. And so Av3k has this time to get some weapons. However, I'm not sure where he's going to actually be tightening the noose a little bit and trying to do some damage. Top of the map just gives Cypher so many options. Oh, close range, though, right in the LG ammo corner. Not where he wanted that fight. Not if your opponent's like double your stack.
Cypher, drop down LG. startling state of affairs as he gets the early tags out. Rapid adjustment on the rail as well as he looks to try and punish. He is doing a nice amount of damage at least to try and tickle them to pieces. The rocket goes down, but it barely misses. The splash damage not even enough to secure that kill when Av3k is so close towards death's door.
Surprised he got away from that, and I'm even more surprised he managed to stay on the map. 4 frags in the lead. Cypher's dealing with Av3k just fine. Able to sneak around behind him time after time. Those totems won't help too much if Av3k doesn't have his headphones on. But Cypher putting some more pressure down on the rail. Expecting Av3k to come in for the heavy, just the straight and narrow way. Cypher's not scared at all. He's like, get out of my way, Totem. I don't have time for you. Oh my god, that free rail. That didn't even really need to happen.
He's on the hunt. And the shots are working well. Even from a distance, he's still lethal as ever. Av3k, very low on HP now. Trapped up top. Rockets coming in, getting a few connections out. Instead, it will be the nails that finish him as he tears him to shreds. Ready with the pre-fire rocket straight out as well. Takes down the totem during his flight. And Cypher already has a 6 frag advantage here. He's making a lot of work out of Av3k.
Just wondering why a double jump isn't a triple jump. When is that patch going to get released? But yeah, like you said, 7 up on 1. And this map is just flown by the way that Awoken generally can. Only 3 minutes for Av3k to pick up all these frags. And Cypher's just keeping all this pressure on the heavy. Now, this is good damage coming out of Av3k. Even if Av3k dies here, he's done enough damage. Oh, 1 HP again! How is that possible? How did he get away with that? Even Cypher doesn't know. He's going back out for the 225s. But the fact that he's still alive, Av3k has got to be like counting on his thumbs and going, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Cypher just being pushed back consistently. All of the tags are coming in. Oh, the no shot. He was hoping to land the rail, and yep, finally being low enough, he will fall. Av3k actually has an opportunity to keep moving with this as well, but the initial rockets are just flipping straight by. The rail through the murder hole will definitely hurt, and that one's going to be even more impressive.
Fantastic rails to make up for those rockets. He didn't have enough LG ammo to really make that fight on the rail worthwhile for him, but he still got some pretty good damage out of it. Cypher's fairly low, but Av3k needs to hunt now. Ideally, those totems are kind of revealing where your opponent is as he shoots them down, but as you see, Cypher's doing a really good job of like just avoiding them and not really acknowledging them. But Av3k having to take a break here for armor is actually bad news for him because this is going to cost him valuable time. Coming back in for the fight for Mega, we can expect Cypher to not even really show up there. Av3k is anticipating that and just trying to draw a larger circle around the Mega to try to at least spot Cypher. There's an initial rail. Make that 2 in a row. There's a fairly clean frag. He's still got plenty of Mega, plenty of armor. Can expect Cypher to spawn back over at Banana. And Cypher is just, yeah, tiptoeing around, making just enough sound to make it ambiguous which way he's going.
Av3k launching himself straight back up. Trying to use the last few seconds he really has left into this one, and he needs to make full use of them. He doesn't have a lot of time, he doesn't have a lot of ammunition either. He can patch one of those things up, but the other one he can't really affect the outcome of. Rockets are going down, good transition. Timing with his weaponry is good, but time is the big issue, and unfortunately it seems like Cypher's been able to really take this one home as it goes gliding through the air, making him chase him, never really getting any payoff from catching up with him.
Yeah, this is kind of an uncomfortable mode for Cypher, having to be just a little bit defensive, but you get that 1 frag and Cypher's going to be, yeah, he's going to want to be back in the saddle. GG getting called out here. And now they're going to play patty cake for 30 seconds.
Yeah, just letting this one tick by, as that's it. They knew it was up. He calls the GG and Cypher takes it. Awoken. Hopefully, yeah, just, you know, having their little timeout takeaway. But it did live up to what I was hoping to see coming through here. Obviously, it is a map where you can have those moments of just exploitivity and just being able to absolutely run away with things. So many firefights the whole time. And Cypher, he had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun series. I mean, you look at 3 to 10 and it looks like a washout, but it was touch and go several times there. A lot of touching from Cypher's part. Down to 1 HP several times. It's That's one of those matches where it will be annoying for Av3k to go back and review this match. Like, that tri-bolt got him down to 1, and he got away, and he came back and he fragged me. You don't want to see that. So somehow, if Av3k, you're seeing this part before you're seeing the rest of the match, just don't watch it. Just don't. Do yourself a favor. But right now, he's going to be focused on map 2.
And that's what he needs to do. Set his gaze towards the future. Obviously, don't get too locked up on what's just gone on there in the past. Rankings-wise, Cypher at this point was seed 9 going into it, and Av3k was 14th. So nobody in that relegation zone. They're at least in a good spot. But for Av3k, it was a matter of, can he push himself a little bit closer towards that top 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, you always want a better seed going into a tournament so you can breathe a little bit easier in the beginning of the day. But Av3k is he's no slouch when it comes to putting in the effort. And moving into the next map here on Corrupted Keep. Again, like Awoken, fairly small. No rail this time. And that was really Cypher's like biggest danger. I mean, his LG was fantastic as well, but that rail was a problem for Av3k. This could be a different story. Bringing BJ into it, I don't know. This might surprise everybody, but I'm not the biggest fan.
I don't know. I don't mind BJ. I think there's opportunities where he can work out quite well. You can definitely scare people off going for control of the major items if you use that akimbo. It's a lot more of a scare tactic than it can be beneficial in some of the firefights. Even though you've got the 2 guns, obviously it's really not that helpful if you're not actually hitting the shots with them, which seems to be the bigger point that we find with a lot of our players.
And at the same time, I don't know. It never, at least in my hands, it never feels like it lasts long enough, and I'm always left wanting more. So I'm just not the right guy for it. But Anarchy, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Anarchy, obviously, with the speed, got the injection as well to try and zip around, be quite aggressive with it. And on a player like Cypher, it definitely works out well for the level of aggression that we expect to see for him. It is keep, however. So, I mean, really, throw everything up in the air. You never really know what is going to stick once we get to keep.
Blood and guts, hopefully. Especially on all the edges of these jump pads. Yeah, a lot of the Corrupted Keep plays today have been messy. You've had a lot of traps at the Boneyard and at the Heavy Armor. Let's see if this is any different or more of the same.
All right, here we go.
We got Av3k here, spawning LG. He's able to put pressure on that rocket launcher immediately, and that's fine. You know that Cypher's going to get heavy. He's going to have maybe tri-bolt. But the moment he wants to go get himself a rocket launcher, Av3k can make some decisions.
Av3k. He's got the LG out. Sliding his way around. Looking for that initial confrontation. He already pops it, as he was hoping to get that dual wield in play openly. Tag's coming out early on. He will be able to light him up with some of the LG. Tag him into a nice position. He is trying to chase. He's firing out with these rockets, consistently hoping to punish, but he's not really getting the tags off early.
At the same time, Cypher knows that, you know, facing down 2 LGs is going to just melt him completely. But like the tail end of Awoken, he's actually baiting some of these shots. The moment Av3k gets a dink on any of those rockets, though, he's going to know what's up. It's this ambiguity that's saving Cypher right now. Is it worth the mega for all this damage? One more rocket doesn't quite sneak around there, but Cypher ends up taking the easy way out. Oh. And getting a bad spawn for his troubles. Unfortunately, he wanted to spawn more towards the rocket launcher. Now he's got to just skate all over the place just to get any kind of weapon whatsoever. Make that number 2 dual wield that doesn't really do Av3k any good.
No, these are not the kind of kills that you want to be racking up. Not ones on yourself. Cypher, -1 already. It might take him a bit of time to find his footing again after that. And Av3k, he can really build off the back of this. He can push himself into a good position. Charges in with the LG, flicks up. He is getting the tags off, but can he actually convert it into the frag? The rockets might be the help he needs as they're flying through and tagging him down. Cypher left low on his overall stack. Av3k still on cruising. Has a sneaking suspicion of his location. There comes in the rockets, but they're barely missing.
I cannot remember the last time I saw Cypher in the negatives. I mean, at this point, Av3k might just want to enjoy this scoreline. I mean, 10 to 2s are pretty cool. 0 to -1 is even cooler. But Av3k is doing just enough damage to keep Cypher off his back. Cypher goes in for the heavy. And Av3k wants to reconvene back outside here. Yeah, making good use of that machine gun. And Cypher's going, maybe this time when I jump out, he won't shoot me. Maybe this time. Oh, that last jump gave him away, because up until then, Av3k had no idea that Cypher had already moved through the red room. But still, this LG is dangerous, especially with the dualies available. But he switches weapons at a really weird time, and Cypher just plays the footsie game until he's able to get just that little bit of extra damage in. What a weird play, but I have to give it to Cypher. That was pretty well calculated.
Well, brings him back into equal footing at least. He's getting the beam out with the LG. He's doing a little bit of ripping and tearing. He needs to sustain that. He needs to keep it moving consistently. Jumps in early on, just firing off the warning rockets, hoping they will actually slam down, do some splash damage onto Av3k. Cypher just waits, slows down the tempo a little bit. He knows he needs these major items and is hungry to secure himself that pickup on the heavy.
Fortunately for Av3k. Cypher didn't know that he needed some rockets. Yeah, he comes back out. He didn't even pick up the rocket launcher. He switches the rockets, goes dually, and doesn't even have any ammo. That's, yeah, again, speaking of moments for Av3k not to play back. It's gonna dive down here for Heavy. Heavy and Mega are coming up at the same time. So it's a bit of an option select. But there's the pickup. And he's gonna, oh, Mega's actually been left up. That was an opportunity, even though Av3k didn't know it was. I think only you and I knew it was, really. But still, the damage is all right.
Passing 4 minutes now. Cypher back up with the LG. The rocket is going to be the bigger point, though, as he will tag him and send him flying. And now then, getting quite deep into this one. Still not a frag on the board. It was just the one suicide at the start for Cypher.
Yeah, it's fascinating how this is almost the exact opposite of Awoken. I don't want to say it's just because of the lack of a railgun, but it's certainly a factor. Av3k right now, no health, no armor, all the screams with 4 HP. He's got to get something here. Unfortunately for him, Cypher knows exactly where that's going to be. It's really difficult to sneak away with health on this map, but Sneaky does.
5-minute warning.
He's just got to decide with no rockets. Okay, 5 rockets, that's cool. It's better than 0. Just got to stay defensive.
Cypher, slow and steady. He's only got 1 rocket to play with, so he needs to make a mad dart across to grab that ammo box. We'll spot him now as he rears his head back over by statue. There comes the direct hit with the rocket. The tags are at least coming out, and Av3k's getting dropped down low. He does have the dual wield if he needs to pull it out, but he won't even get a chance to as Cypher swings in, and there's that frag going his way. Finally pushing him over the boundary and taking it 1-0.
And that's heartbreaking for Av3k just because this was going his way, at least marginally, for such a long time. Cypher's looking at a great stack. He's got all the speed. He's not too shabby on the ammo. Good HMG coming out. And really, is this an attrition battle Av3k really wants? If they both lose 100 health, Av3k loses that fight. And that's what machine gun fights do. You both lose about the same, really. But there's Cypher taking away Heavy. Av3k's got the Mega. Is it going to be enough? Cypher's got enough LG to make this fight worthwhile. There's the drugs, there's the dualies. And there's 1 rocket just whizzing by Cypher. Av3k still getting out of there. The worst for the wear, that rocket a little bit early, telling Av3k which way to run. Barely getting out of there alive again.
Ooh. Yeah, taking him down. The LG has been the saving grace really for Cypher in a lot of these plays. He's so precise with it. His tracing is always so effective. And you can see even again now as he finds the flick. Beautiful stuff as he waits around the wall. Was hoping that he'd get pushed upon and be able to land him with a rocket. Instead, he has to take the initiative, pushing out, stopping him from getting anywhere near that light armor as he spams down over and over again with the rocket, looking to find the frag. The LG might be able to save him. They both get low, pops the injection, and he calls it quits there for now.
Still, only 2 frags. I mean, it's it's annoyingly doable. Cypher's pushing in here with more LG. These are not fights that Av3k needs to be committing to. the damage was not going to happen there. You're not going to double back out of rocket launcher and get away with the boneyard health. Cypher's going to take that. He's going to take this mega. And Av3k's here to make a fight for it. He doesn't have his ability yet even. It's about to pop up. But he doesn't really have a whole lot of weapons to bring to bear. He's already popped it out though. He's already used it. And Cypher's going, never mind, I don't need that. I'm just going to take the armor instead. Means that when Av3k comes out of mega, he's going to be in the red room, and that is trouble.
Ooh, Cypher again getting so low and the skin of his teeth scraping through in these incredibly tight fights. Cypher had a bit of a sneaking suspicion there, flicked his way back across, knew that maybe he was playing around by the statue, but here comes the push. They're going to fight for the heavy. It's the tags from Av3k that have been able to stop him from getting anywhere near it. He's going to have to retreat back towards Mega. They both go in! Cypher! Not only does he get the major item, but he gets the knock-up and the slam down. Another frag, taking it 5-0.
That is the cleanest frag we've seen in the entire map. And it was quite the showboaty one as well. And now Av3k's mad. Is it going to help him, though? The shotgun to the rescue. Always trust in the shotgun if you need to make a comeback. It doesn't get said often enough. It doesn't get used often enough. Sib can believe it after today. Av3k needs to believe it too.
1 minute warning.
Av3k. One single frag. Can he get 4 in 60 seconds? And can he do it starting now? He needs to begin swinging, go out there windmilling, and absolutely get the connections off. The LG, as he rapid fire roams in. He was trying to go fast, but he's not aggressive enough. Finally, the rocket will be able to take down Cypher, but he doesn't have much time. It's ticking away second by second. He's got to chase, he's got to spot him. He detects him, but can he slay him? He had both of the guns out, but they're gone by the time he gets there, and he suffers the same fate.
How did that happen? Didn't even see him there. Got to turn off your gun model. It's unfortunate. What an early part of this game. I mean, GG's getting called again here like 10 seconds before it, but the early portion of this map was just fascinating. And it just went so poorly for Av3k.
Yeah, I mean, it was the fact it was just so tight the entire time. It was very back and forth, very close. Obviously, the unfortunate suicide frag that came out initially as well to put in -1, and he still brought it back and brought it back to win quite dominantly on the second map as well.
Oof. 40% LG for Cypher. It's a 19% for Av3k. I mean, that was just a ton of damage there. Most of it coming out of rockets, most of it coming out of LG. It's crap to keep. Of course, that's the way it breaks down, but solid dominating play from Cypher there, showing that even without the rail, just his ability to stand there and shoot you is scary. And I know my mic has been scary as well, everybody. I've been possessed by the ghost of Zoot, and so I'm blaming that entirely, but we are aware, and I'll be working on it as best I can.
Yeah,
I'm getting out the circle of salt and getting the baby goat, and we'll work it out.
Yeah, needing to see if they'll actually be a bit of momentum back, though, for Av3k, obviously, going forward from this. This has been quite a rapid-fire series, with the first 2 maps being a bit of blowouts. On Sarnath, that's his last-ditched attempt, really. Aizen going to be in play for Av3k, so he does have his totem buddy. Meanwhile, Ranger comes back through for Cypher. He's got the movement capabilities. He's got that dire orb as well. So it could be nasty. Could be nasty.
I can anticipate one moment in this map where Cypher forgets about the turret, gets stuck on it, gets shot by it, and that ends up being an edge for Av3k. I can see that happening once. I can see the dire orb for Cypher helping him so many more times. so many more times. I don't know what Aizen is really going to bring to the table for Av3k in the long run.
Well, you have the potential of obviously throwing it down, just being able to be a bit of a nuisance maker with it, to try and stop major items picked up if you know he's low. But that probably is one of the bigger points. It's just the fact you can use it on choke points, really, to be a slight nuisance. It doesn't really give you that extra utility like you were saying with Ranger.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is the big point to it. You can fling yourself across the map.
Yeah. The biggest thing with the turret is your opponent forgetting that you have it and taking advantage of that. But here we go. It's do or die. Do and or die for Av3k. Going to be following him out of the gate. He's going to have the heavy spawn, which gives him LG immediately, but not rail. Or I'm sorry, it gave him the rail, but not the rocket. And he's wanting to make this a fight out here? Really? Okay, because yeah, that fire orb can take him away, and you don't really have the weapons to like pressure him after he escapes with the orb. If you had a rocket launcher, that would be a trap for Av3k. With that one, it's a trap for Cypher. But he's trying to make good on the rails here. Peeking and playing the angles, catching Cypher on the exit. Oh, but Cypher didn't actually drop. He dropped late. Okay, there's the grab of the heavy. And Cypher's being really slow on his exit. Giving Av3k time to go shop for other items, but also giving Cypher time to recover from that hit.
Well, a minute in, slow and steady for both of these boys, as right now they're not really wanting to overstep. Av3k spotted out Cypher. You can see the quick turn as well as he was trying to adjust himself. The heart rate definitely spiked on that one, but there is no tag yet. He makes his move on the rockets. He'll have those so we can start getting a little bit louder and a whole lot more explosive, and he's going to need to. Cypher appears behind him, teleports away like a magician, and the magic is certainly there as he finds the kill with a railgun.
48 health. Yeah, that last rocket, you were kind of looking at it and hoping, but Cypher's going to get the first frag on the board here once again. Oh, I'm sorry, not once again. He's going to avoid going 0-1 this time. So that's a benefit. But Heavy's going to be up. Looks like the items are going to get back in sync. We're even a little bit later on the Heavy, but look at this. Cypher is just standing his ground with the rocket launcher, whiffing that last rail, which certainly would have been the frag, and still putting pressure on the edge. Oh my god. I was thinking that was a dire orb frag for a moment, but the fact that he made it with the rail from that angle, absolutely phenomenal.
Cypher being torn to shreds. Av3k is certainly getting the hits off that he needs to be able to find success this time around, and we'll get a little bit closer. One frag is all it takes between them both now. Drops down. The railgun's coming in clutch. He had no ammunition left on the LG, but he can't get the shots off with it anyway. That's going to be a little bit tilting for him. The turret goes down, and Cypher has to clear the angle before he's allowed to move. They were both so low, but he couldn't chase because of it, and Av3k bails back. Mega isn't up for another 10 seconds, and he's going to have to try and use this all-seeing eye to keep himself alive.
And right now, its only utility really is that function you just described. It's like a little bit of an early warning system. Beyond that, maybe 20 damage here and there. Early on, when he kind of made that a 2v1 attack outside, that was useful, but again, without a rocket launcher. He's got the rocket launcher now, but he threw that orb so early. Really well played. Av3k wasn't thinking that he was actually going to be able to get away with that orb usage. It was such a gap, but really well timed out of Cypher. All right, but here comes the attack on Mega. 5 seconds to it. Av3k's not committed to the platform just yet. Tossing out the turret first. I like this turret on the jump pad. And it's enough of a distraction to get the frag for Av3k. This is a big opportunity for Av3k to get another bit of damage off the spawn, but it's not happening just yet. Just the one rail. But Av3k honestly could have pushed in for a little bit more there.
Av3k really backing off, scavenging the smaller pickups to put himself back into at least a opportunistic position to fight. Turret goes down. The warning shot's being cast out as well. Dire Orb comes in. He was barely able to get himself out of the distance of it, but it won't matter. Cypher comes through, raring to go as he fires off with a rocket, blows it to smithereens. Another drop down as well, bouncing him up in the air, and he's just having to try and bail out straight through the portal to get away.
Absolutely flawless rockets in that fight. And Cypher with 30 health is still being aggressive. Still like dodging across the doorway, throwing out a little bit of machine gun. 6 seconds to Heavy, and he's daring Av3k to show up. It's not gonna... Av3k is gonna show up, and he's gonna show up with the rail, finally. 86 HP, he was railable himself for once. He's able to match Cypher rail for rail, and tie things back up, 3-3.
Av3k just roaming. And getting himself whatever he can find. He needs the items. He needs the firepower to play with, and it's the drop-down rocket that will blow him away as he overtakes him. Again, 4-3. Cypher still ahead. Just barely, inch by inch, every time they get into a bit of a kerfuffle. LG swinging out. And LG is going to cut him clean.
That's that first rocket, you just knew it was all over. Still only 2 frags, but Cypher has done 2 frags without taking a whole lot of damage. He's still got a great stack here. Taking away Mega, 10 seconds to Heavy. He's going to be able to be very dominant on it. Av3k has these 10 seconds to get maybe A armor, LG, nail gun, and a turret. Hopefully that's enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's still in it, though. He still wants the armor. He still wants the fight. He wants to do enough damage so that he can respawn, find Cypher with like 50 or 75 health, and make something happen. Is now the time? Cypher's backing out of here, defending himself with... that almost worked. That nearly worked. Amazing play from Cypher, but Av3k finally was able to push him over.
He's looking to do a bit more pushing as well, and see if he can actually take this one even further. The rail shots are coming down. One by one, they're fired off, but the actual tags just aren't being racked up. He's allowed to make his move as he'll pounce over back towards the Heavy and gain himself a little bit more armor to work with. In Cypher's case, it's the fact he's just going to have to take the straight fight towards him as he swings wide, but the rail shot won't land. Av3k still on the roam, looking for him as he's lost his trail, which means he has won control of the Mega. And he'll be happy with that parting gift.
Hopefully some improvement there, but 3 minutes to play, 2 frags. Incredibly close here for Av3k, who's managed to sneak away a really good stat. You have a teleporter play. Cypher looking to fade away with 2 rails back to back, and Av3k still on the chase. Is it still worth it? Cypher's weak, and I like that turret placement. Just in case Cypher wants to come back up the jump pad. And yeah, he wants to come back up the jump pad, not get fragged, and also not give away his position, but he managed to fail all 3 of those. Av3k taking a frag back. The best use of the turret I've seen so far in this match, but again, there's like the one time it really came in handy. Is it going to be enough?
Av3k chasing aggressively. Turns around, good adjustment. That's the rail we need to see, and that follow-up is even better. The game is tied 6-6. Cypher, he's been good in the series, but when it comes down to the final map, that will be the talking point. As right now, the Polish Punisher returning to form on the chase. The tags are coming through. Be able to see this one through. Grabs the light arm, well, grabs the heavy once it spawns in, but actually has to leave it. He bails out, paranoid about the push.
I don't mind that. It's a little bit of a gap, or rather synchronizing them back up a little bit. But Cypher's going to hear the pickup as well, so it's not exactly the sneakiest thing to do. Nice pair of rockets coming out of Av3k, and that's going to put him in the lead 7-6. Could he actually take a map off of Cypher? He's going to be listening for him down in the puddle. Yeah, now Cypher doesn't really have an option other than the Dire Orb, but Av3k needs to anticipate that, know which way he's going to go, and try to catch him at the Mega. He's able to at least get it in front of him enough to get the pickup, but he needs frags more than health right now.
Oh, the rail shots are certainly being the big talking point, though. Every time he peaks, he's being able to punish with it. Time is ticking away. Not a lot left, and for Cypher, the comeback zone. Will he be able to slowly claw his way back into this one? He just needs a single frag to take it to sudden death, and Plasma's coming out. Starting to cover Av3k in it. He was suspecting a potential push coming around from behind as well as he waits for the drop down. Cypher skating around and waiting for the right moment to strike. It has to be opportune. It's got to be flawless, as it will probably be the last chance he gets.
The last chance for the shot is 30 seconds just to stay alive, but his position's been found. He's been caught on the jump pad. This is bad news. Time to get out of there, but that's going to tie it back up. 7-7. 30 seconds to go. And Cypher still has plenty of health, a little bit of armor. Av3k needs to just avoid the fight right now. It's between this and sudden death at the moment, so it's all about stacking back up, getting something to work with. It's not really about finding the fight at the moment. It's not like Cypher has a great stack at the moment anyway, but this is not the time for Av3k. He's railable. That's the dangerous thing. But there's sudden death. Cypher getting that heavy. Av3k needs his Mega. Needs it. Desperately. Okay, good, he got it. But now the stacks will be a little bit more even. It's about the initial shot more. Tri-bolt coming out. And neither of them are wanting to give away a rail angle just yet. Cypher has to realize he's at a slight stack disadvantage. Topping up on the health. Heavy's going to be back up, and this is just going to be more traded items. But no, Av3k wants to fight right now before he even goes in for the next Mega. Didn't make any great initial shots out of it. Cypher's still defensive. He's still here, still alive, but it could be Av3k getting the frag. There's no rail, and they both leave with just over 25 health.
Barely alive, barely kicking and screaming their way forward. Cypher. A bit scared. Ideas floating through his mind, and the response is going to be to fire off the rail. Big connection back. Nice amount of damage done. He swoops in. Heavy's up in a second. He's not taking it initially. He's muddying the timing a little bit and waiting for the push, hoping that Av3k would get a little bit closer. Maybe that he'd be bold and decide that he could try and grab it off him. Moves up towards Heavy as well. Still 10 seconds till it spawns. He does have Dire Orb. There's no turret in play for Av3k.
He's incredibly quiet. Because this is his opportunity to get both Mega and Heavy. Which will mean a forced fight. Down goes Heavy. Oh, but the turret actually turns him around. 38 health. He's got to make every rail, but there it is. Av3k taking the frag and taking the map. Making it a 2-1 series. Nicely done. Holy shit.
Well, that's the way it's taken at the end there. Ridiculously close. Cypher, it seemed like even though he had taken so much damage and was almost blown to pieces, was going to claw it back, but no, not meant to be. Av3k barely snatches that one away, and I mean very barely.
It's about as close as it got, and amusingly enough, he was able to tie things back up with the turret with a little bit of misdirection, and instead of the turret coming in handy once, it came in handy twice. Exactly twice at that last frag. Just a little bit of like extra damage in the back as he was going down towards Heavy, got stuck there, and wasn't able to defend enough. He tried to Dire Orb back out, but he was actually like Dire Orbing into the back wall. I'm not sure where that would have put him. But it did the job, so Av3k able to take one away.
Yeah. Yeah, Av3k at least snatching away that one victory. Curious to see how that actually affects things. Obviously, Cypher was in 9th position. Av3k was 14th. So that might actually have a little bit of a swing on the standings. Overall, a good series, though. Corrupted Keep was probably the interesting one for me. Obviously, the fact that we saw Cypher go down with the initial suicide frag to start and then claw it back. Pretty magnificent.
Absolutely. And when we come back, I hope to sound like a normal person again.
You never know. Maybe. But that is right. We'll be back after the break. Next matchup that is going to be coming up is Game 5, Cygib versus Dahang. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it.